Given the clear-eyed assessment of candidate Trump by Republican leaders, why did the party nominate him as its presidential candidate in 2016? Why did his contempt for democratic rules, procedures, and norms fail to disqualify him as its presidential candidate? Is there no filter in America's representative system of government to block a dangerous renegade from seeking entry to the Oval Office? Much of the attention paid to Trump's rise to power has focused on his corrosive personality and divisive style of governing. Missing has been an examination of the structure of politics that acquiesced in his rise. The ascendance of Trump is not an aberration, but a predicted, indeed recurrent, result of a nomination process that sidelined party officials and senior officials and deferred to a relatively small number of ideologically motivated party activists, interest groups, and donors. Worse, the system that handcuffed party leaders from stopping a known renegade is considered democratic. Will government of the people, by the people, for the people, not perish from the earth? As Abraham Lincoln intoned on the blood-drenched soil of Gettysburg? It is vulnerable, and there are few, if any, reliable protections against the future nomination of dangerous candidates by either major political party. The scheme of representation, as James Madison put it in Federalist Paper 10, does not extend party nominations to filter out candidates who threaten the Constitution. It must be erected if democratic political representation is to endure. How did genuine democracy become so vulnerable? Researchers and informed observers frequently point to the Democratic Party reforms in 1969 to 1970 that triggered the adoption of presidential primary elections to select candidates. This episode is important, but the changes were structured by three prior political clashes over the form of American democracy since the late 18th century. The Declaration of Independence laid a cornerstone in 1776 for democratic governance by proclaiming the principle that all male citizens are created equal. While the framers of the U.S. Constitution initially disdained political parties as sources of faction, Thomas Jefferson was motivated by his loss to John Adams in the 1796 presidential contest to weaponize nascent parties to create a revolution in mass voting that elected him in 1800. In the 1820s and 1830s, the infamous frontier general Andrew Jackson extended the mobilizing capacity of political parties and added a critical new form of American democracy, the National Party Convention, to choose the presidential candidates, in order to realize the Declaration's promise of political equality. The fourth critical juncture was the quixotic push during the early 20th century's progressive era to restore democracy by establishing direct primaries to end boss control over the party convention. The four critical junctures in the development of democratic rules and procedures differed in their immediate contexts, but each confronted the organizing principles of political equality and government authority. James Madison engineered the Constitutional Convention to establish the authority and legitimacy of government, including representative institutions, and contain the strong democracy that erupted in states during the 1780s as farmers, laborers, and other ordinary citizens converted the Declaration's call for political equality into a reality. Madison's double-sided strategy, control the expression of political equality and lay a foundation for representative rules and procedures, was extended by Jackson's political strategist Martin Van Buren, who anchored representative institutions in the political party nomination process in the 1830s. The progressive era is often touted for launching the direct primary, but the fierce and effective opposition to its wide adoption stands out, as do the prophetic warnings of Herbert Croly, one of the intellectual trailblazers of the progressive movement.